keeps charging.
Well, I tell you, the missing link is probably the most unorthodox among all the unorthodox wrestlers. He has a natural power in that body of his that is astounding. He's a man who nobody gets close to. He doesn't talk, he doesn't do anything. He just silently sits in the dressing room and has a green outlook on life.
Well, the missing link now is his opponents know when he grabs the back of the head, that means he's getting into charging position. Hollywood John Tatum doesn't want to face the missing link. And the missing link, what a unique combination the missing link and Dark Journey make.
Well, Dark Journey is looking for her opportunity, but it hasn't come yet. So that puts John Tatum in an awkward position, and now it may be necessary for Missy Hyatt to come in. Here's our Nibs Dark Journey, and there is Missy Hyatt, quick to take advantage of what she thinks is an opportunity.
Missy Hyatt better jump on Dark Journey when she's down. She may make the mistake of letting her get up, but Missy Hyatt now loving this moment right now as Dark Journey still trying to get back on her feet after that trip by Hollywood John Tatum. Missy Hyatt now, not very many wrestling holds when those two step in the ring.
No, not with the length of the hair that both of them sport. You can tell that it ought to be made legal for women to pull hair in a match like this.
Well, I think Tommy Gilbert is smart enough not to try to step in between the two of them and prevent the hair pulling, because no one should be brave enough to step in between Dark Journey and Missy Hyatt. Regardless of the outcome of this tag team battle, ladies and gentlemen, on Sunday, September 21st, Dark Journey and Missy Hyatt will battle 1-1. No other partners, just the two of them battling it out. That's the same night that the UWF title will be at stake, with one-man gang up against Terry Bam Bam Gordy. But back in the ring, Dark Journey and Missy Hyatt not missing an opportunity to get a hold of each other's hair or anything else they can grab, as they want to prove to the others and the thousands of fans here, Paul, who is the toughest.
Dark Journey came out of the trauma that hit her in the very first time she stepped into the ring. And this I think, shows that she is capable of standing up or knocking down Missy Hyatt, which goes well with what you just said about them meeting one-on-one.
Well, I think Dark Journey gained the respect of a lot of wrestling fans when she stood face-to-face with Mad Maxine and eventually sent Mad Maxine packing. She wasn't intimidated by Mad Maxine, nor is she intimidated by Missy Hyatt back in the ring, and so Dark Journey, according to the rules, must come back in the ring.
Now, as Dark Journey comes into the ring, she's prepared this time. The last time she was taken by surprise, but now we have got him going, and listen to that vast roar out of this crowd. What a tremendously noisy group of fans, and that's the way we love them.
Well, you can imagine what's going to take place on that Super Sunday in September when the two of them are the only two in the ring.
Right.
And Missy Hyatt's not going to be able to tag anybody for help. She's going to be one-on-one.
What you've got to remember, Pete, is that Houston Wrestling has the most enthusiastic, the most loyal, the most knowledgeable, and we think the best treated fans in the wrestling game.
Dark Journey's got Missy Hyatt by the hair, and now it's as a topple over each other. Missy Hyatt running for safety. That she's not going to be able to do on Super Sunday in September. She makes the tag. Dark Journey has no choice, but she also knows it's a smart choice to quickly tag the missing link.
Well, Missy tagged John Tatum that time, but she was out of the ring when she did it.
And that's why,
of course, you're supposed to have one in the ring and reach over the top rope in order to make a tag legal.
We've got missing link chasing Hollywood John Tatum outside the ring.
In trouble.
And Missy Hyatt now facing the fury of Dark Journey. They're throwing those slaps, grabbing each other's hair, and down on the mat once again. They battle each other as Missy Hyatt and Dark Journey looking for any opportunity to settle their score once and for all. Look at Missy Hyatt reaching for help.
Wildcat is the word, Wildcat. The pair of them are Wildcats. And they go at each other in just that fashion. So now in comes Big John. He's grabber, but look at that missing link. There's nothing missing when he goes into action.
I tell you, earlier in the evening, it was
Hollywood John's in trouble, Pete.
was quite a sight seeing some of these children here in the Coliseum with their faces painted and their hair set up like the missing link. I don't know if he's going to set a new fashion trend. I'm sure a lot of parents out there are hoping that he does it. But a few of the youngsters came out to support the missing link.
So now with the missing link in catching that clothesline, John Tatum thinks that he's got an opportunity, but he can't bypass that opportunity to grandstand to these fans and show them who's boss. You see, right now there's a little bit of a hush on the crowd, but they're waiting for the missing link to do his stuff. He may get the opportunity.
Hollywood John Tatum up on the top rope and across.
And there he got the opportunity when he caught him.
Big man coming at him. He had the strength and stamina to catch him in midair. And now the link up as he's going to try to come off those ropes. Look at Missy Hyatt doing her best to distract him, but Dark Journey's taking care of her while the missing link drove that hard torpedo-type head of his into the midsection. We got all 4 men in the ring. All 4 people in the ring. Excuse me. As this is not an easy match to call when you try to call that type action. You can just call it wild and exciting and leave it at that.
All 4 of them in the ring at once, and all of them intent on mayhem. And it looks like Hollywood John and Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert is coming around here to join in. And they just rescued John Tatum.
And they rescued John Tatum and Missy Hyatt. As we're waiting now on the verdict of the match, regardless of the outcome of this match.
Let's await the official verdict here. Because there it is, the winners out of disqualification. Missing link and Dark Journey.
Well, Missy Hyatt may not find it that easy to get out of her match on Super Sunday in September because it's one-on-one with Dark Journey. What a night. Be here at the Coliseum. You don't want to miss that particular night because it's going to be one of the biggest nights of 1986. Universal Wrestling Federation heavyweight title with one-man gang battling Terry Bam Bam Gordy. One-on-one. Dark Journey up against Missy Hyatt. There'll be midget wrestlers there. More matches are being signed each week. Stay tuned right here in Channel 39 Gold. But most important, mark it down on your calendar. Make your plans to be at the Sam Houston Coliseum on Super Sunday in September. September 21st, Sam Houston Coliseum. The winners, Dark Journey and the Missing Link, as they are mobbed by the fans here at the Coliseum. We'll be back in just one moment.
The only way to settle it. You know, and I know, and Missy Hyatt, you know, I am not a wrestler, but I'm telling you there's going to be some nail breaking, and there's going to be some hair pulling and some scratching, some eye scratching, some hair pulling. One-on-one this Sunday, it's the only way to settle it, and Missy Hyatt, this will be more than a dream come true for me, and it's the only way to settle it, and I will.
Boy, I'm feeling good today. I just got done working out, just got done doing 2 miles. Boy, I feel good, good, good. Sam Houston, Coliseum, Houston fans, you helped me out. I was down, then I came back, and boy, did I put one of the birds out. 1 bird down, 2 to go. When that door shuts, it's just you and me, pretty. That's right, Hayes, you and me, and you're going down in Houston.
Houston, Texas, one of my favorite towns to wrestle because every time I go, the people like to see a downright dirty, nasty fight. That's exactly what I expect from you, John Tatum, because I embarrassed you on television. The people all saw what happened when your little plan backfired with it. Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert throws the powder. Well, I beat you on national television. You feel like you have something to prove. Well, yeah, I'm showing the wear and tear of being the champion, but for the last 4 months, I've been riding high, and I feel very good about it. People let me know they feel good about it, too. They like me being their champion. But when it comes right down to the bottom line, I'm telling you, John Tatum, I see there's a little dissension in the ranks sitting there at Hot Stuff and Hyatt International. Eddie Gilbert won't be there, so you're going to have to face me one-on-one. If Missy Hyatt gets in the way, I had my chance on television. My parents brought me up not to hit a woman or a lady. But Missy Hyatt, that completely excludes you, doesn't it? So if you get in the way, I may slap you out of the way. Because Tatum, I know that you are a very worthy contender. You wouldn't be in the Universal Wrestling Federation says anybody that holds the television title is a #1 in men for Terry Gordy's belt. Well, I know I have to hang on to this to get to Gordy, and that's exactly what I'm going to do.
Out of the bell, and there it is. This match coming your way, tag team action at its best. Ted DiBiase and Chavo Guerrero up against Jack Victory and Rick Steiner. My name is Peter Burkholz, and pleased to have with me to help me with this first match, the voice of the Universal Wrestling Federation, Jim Ross.
Thanks very much, Pete. It's great to be back in Houston here at the Sam Houston Coliseum. This should be an outstanding tag team encounter. Two of the young lions of professional wrestling, Jack Victory and Rick Steiner, taking on two experienced veterans, two of the finest tacticians in all of professional wrestling, in Ted DiBiase and Chavo Guerrero. And I think that the fans at home will agree with us, Pete, on this point, that DiBiase and Chavo make, without a doubt, as fine a technical tag team as there is in professional wrestling today.
It's one of those combinations, Jim. For years, they battled each other, and many times when wrestlers battle each other, they gain a mutual respect. And that mutual respect then turns into a great spirit of cooperation, and they both know just how tough each other have been in the past, and they know that they combine their efforts together, that they are indeed a top tag team. Ted DiBiase now going up against Rick Steiner. And I tell you, every time you see Rick Steiner and you see that physique of his, an intimidating sight for sure.
He certainly is. Look at that tremendous strength. He's got possibly one of the best physiques in pro wrestling, and he's extremely strong. On some of the features that I've done involving Missy Hyatt and Hot Stuff and Hyatt International and so forth, I've seen this young man in the gymnasium doing some awesome things. I mean, he's phenomenally strong, and I don't really think he knows how strong he is.
The tremendous football star at the University of Michigan. He's been able to carry that athletic ability into professional wrestling. You know, people like Rick Steiner, Steve Dr. Williams, and so many more, they're setting a new trend. A lot of these college athletes, when they come out, they have an alternative now, and professional wrestling is a very lucrative alternative, and many are starting to choose that route.
I agree. A lot of the calls that we receive in our office in the UWF headquarters up in Oklahoma are from athletes with a big variety of backgrounds, but they're winners, and they're great athletes in their own right. A lot of them have some sincere interest in getting into professional wrestling. It certainly isn't easy, but you're right, Pete. I think a lot of big-name athletes. You'll be seeing a lot of big-name athletes leaving other sports and coming into pro wrestling in the upcoming months and years.
Rick Steiner is showing his strength, because you best that strength if you're going to pick up somebody as big and tough as Ted DiBiase and body slam him to the mat.
You know, I think one of the things that perhaps Eddie Gilbert has helped Steiner in is Steiner's self-confidence. He's almost like he's come out of his shell. He's very extroverted now. Jack Victory's always been that way, it seems like. But Steiner, in particular, has really come out of his shell, so to speak, and I think he senses he's on the verge of superstardom.
And the crowd here, thousands and thousands strong in the Coliseum, start to chant Teddy, 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 as they encourage Ted DiBiase, the big crowd favorite here, Houston Wrestling, setting up Rick Steiner. A beautiful hip flip and a crotch hold and a body slam, as Ted DiBiase now showing Rick Steiner that he's not rated one of the top wrestlers in wrestling today for any other reason except that he is tough and he's extremely good.
DiBiase, that big right hand, not only is he a star in America, but also in the Far East. One of the biggest stars in Japan is Ted DiBiase, as is Chavo Guerrero, who lets Jack Victory know his presence. And the crowd here at the Sam Houston Coliseum, several thousand strong. And I'll tell you, this place will be rocking Sunday night. This Sunday night at 7 o'clock starting time. Great seats are still available and will be available up into match time. I suggest, ladies and gentlemen, you get here early, get the best seats that are left. You're going to see 3 championship matches Sunday night. You're going to see Dr. S.D. Williams and Michael Hayes in the cage, and Dark Journey and Missy Hyatt one-on-one. No mixed tag, no one else, just the ladies there one-on-one.
Without a doubt, it's going to be one of the biggest nights of the 1986 Houston Wrestling season. and it's called Super Sunday in September, Sam Houston Coliseum, 7 o'clock, and that cage battle with the legendary cage of Houston wrestling up around the ring. Michael Hayes has got to be a very worried individual.
Well, the hours are counting down for this Sunday night at 7 o'clock, and I'm sure Michael Hayes has got his mind on what he will have to face as Ted DiBiase facing both Rick Steiner and Jack Victory. Chavo Guerrero again inserting his athletic abilities on Jack Victory. I think there was a tag made.
Set him up in a crash landing as Chavo and Ted DiBiase showing the tag team action that they have and they possess as they normally combine their wrestling skills and years of experience, but years of international wrestling experience, and many times that is a big advantage.
Exactly right, no doubt about it. You know, we look at this tremendous card with 3 championship matches. The UWF title, Terry Bam Bam Gordy back from a very triumphant and a very victorious, but a very physical tour of Japan. Defending the UWF title against the giant one-man gang who is nearing 500 pounds. He's 6'9". What a battle that's going to be. Dr. Death and Michael Hayes in the cage. Dark Journey and Missy Hyatt one-on-one. And then the big tag team championship battle. 2 out of 3 Falls Fantastics versus Eddie Gilbert and Sting. Terry Taylor defends the TV title against Hollywood John Tatum. We've got a big man, little man tag team matchup on the card. Iceman King Parsons will be here and much more. And I think one of the nice things about this, Pete, is that we're starting this card at 7 o'clock. And I think that's a great plus because the kids being in school on Monday morning, starting at 7 o'clock, they should be home at a very reasonable. And I'm sure after seeing the excitement of the big night, they'll be more than ready to go to bed and dream about one of the greatest wrestling events of all time this Sunday night at 7 o'clock.
What a great night. All those matches and more all in one night.
One night, that's it. Starting at 7 o'clock this Sunday night. We hope that you will be with us. And, you know, there's quite a history with Steiner and Chavo Guerrero. And Steiner, I guess discretion is the better part of valor in this particular instance as far as he is concerned, as he tags in Jack Victory. Chavo Guerrero, that great Hispanic temperament. I love it. It doesn't take him long to boil.
I tell you, he became the big winner of that $50,000 two-ring battle royal. A lot had to do with his many years of ring experience. High in the air, Jack Victory sent high up in the air, and Chavo drop-kicking Rick Steiner. As Chavo Guerrero, he's ready for Ted DiBiase, catching the attention of Jack Victory. He caught his attention real quick.
That's a good way of getting anybody's attention, I think, a right hand to the face. You know, Chavo and DiBiase aren't going to make many mistakes. They've been in this type of situation too many times. They're not going to make too many mistakes, I can tell you. So Victory and Rick Steiner certainly have their work cut out for them here in this encounter from a jam-packed Sam Houston Coliseum. A lot of great action still to come in this hour. We certainly appreciate everybody being with us here on 39 Gold, this great Gaylord broadcasting station. We hope that you'll be with us each and every Saturday night at 10 o'clock and every Sunday morning at 10 o'clock.
Jack Victory getting to his feet as Chavo adds that extra twist to the arm twist. Victory makes the tag, and as he's able to manipulate Chavo, in comes Rick Steiner, and Rick Steiner knows exactly what. As he works over Chavo with that powerful right wallop of his, Chavo into the turnbuckle in a tough way to land.
I'll tell you, when Steiner puts his velocity, look at those arms and shoulders. Now, he didn't get that kind of body by not spending a lot of long hours in a gymnasium. DiBiase saving his partner some punishment there. There's that experience. That's all Chavo needed, and Steiner was in the wrong corner for the tag.
Chavo now sending Rick Steiner to the corner and comes across with that right forearm as one more time DiBiase and Chavo were able to show that tag team experience. Good reversal as what the fans didn't see at home was Jack Victory went running over to try to protect the turnbuckle. Chavo,
a la Ted DiBiase, it backfired.
Well, both Ted DiBiase and Chavo knew exactly what to do, and that comes from experience of wrestling together. A big, big advantage when you have that tag team experience together. That's one of the reasons why the Freebirds are so tough. The many years that they had. That's one of the reasons why the Fantastics are so good. They had those years of experience.
Exactly right. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got to take a commercial timeout. We'll be right back. Don't go away. We'll be right back with more of this exciting tag man in sports today. Not just wrestling, but in sports today, and Dr. Destiny Williams.
Rick Steiner showing that powerful strength of his as he's able to lift Chavo on the air, but Chavo's got him. I don't know what he's going to be able to do with somebody that big, but Chavo's got him, and that's what counts as Rick Steiner trying to figure out exactly how to get out of that predicament, and Chavo knew how to get out of it. Chavo has got so many moves and so many holds, Jim, you can watch him for months and months and years, and you won't see all of them.
Well, he got a tremendous repertoire, as does Ted DiBiase. And now they are methodically giving a tutoring session, I would say, to Steiner in victory. And as soon as I say that, Steiner reaches to the well, takes a big shortcut using that turnbuckle. It's covered with padding, but that doesn't really mean a lot. If you've ever been around those turnbuckles, they're hard. Inflict a lot of punishment. Now, there was the tag.
Tag was made. Ted DiBiase wasn't aware of it as Jack Victory picks up where Rick Steiner left off. As Victory, he has proven that he's a tough individual in his own right. And Teddy, as he delights the thousands here, started to chant Teddy, Teddy, reverses it, and then an arm drag, and we've got Ted DiBiase driving that knee into the shoulder and the upper arm of Jack Victory. And that's going to take its toll on the blonde grappler.
You know, the wrestling fans around the country have to watch a lot of different programs and attend a lot of live matches. But we challenge any wrestling promotion, any wrestling league or association to match the excitement, the tempo, the momentum, the enthusiasm that the athletes and the Universal Wrestling Federation exhibit each and every time they step in the squared circle. And, of course, this Sunday night, like I said, I don't know what more we can say about it. Without a doubt, it's one of the most awesome lineups I personally have ever seen. 3 championship matches, and then Doc and Hayes in a cage. I bet there's thousands of people around the country, and obviously thousands here in Houston watching our program that would love to be in the cage with Michael Hayes.
Well, you know, being on a Sunday night, it brought up a very good point for those Houston wrestling fans in surrounding areas. They're not able to come in on Friday because they work, and by the time they would leave, they wouldn't get here in time. Sunday offers a great opportunity for them to drive in and see a night of Houston wrestling action they will never forget. So.
I'll say I'm a big fan, obviously, but I'll tell you, if you're only going to see one wrestling match during the year, this Sunday night is it. It has it all. Championships, cages, the girls, one-on-one. That's the one I'm frankly looking forward to that.
Crowd starts to chant, Teddy, 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 as Ted DiBiase now taking a lot of punishment, but he has proven through the years that he is capable of taking that punishment, and a vicious move by Rick Steiner. And Rick Steiner is getting tougher and tougher every time you see him.
He sure is. He's in phenomenal condition. He's learning every day, and that's the key. Just like any other athlete, he's learning every day. He made a mistake there, and Ted DiBiase capitalized on it and quickly made the tag to Chavo Guerrero.
And that shows experience and ring savvy right there. A lot of wrestlers who with a little bit less experience wouldn't have made that tag, but he knew Chavo was ready. 15 minutes this match, and Chavo setting up Rick Steiner. A big man is set up with a beautiful, beautiful drop kick. Chavo gets way up in the air in that drop kick. At that time, the drop kick missed as Chavo wanted to follow up with one more punishing drop kick, and Rick Steiner showing that he is learning match after match.
You won't see that too often, Chavo making a tactical error there, but he was just a little bit overzealous. Steiner showing he's rapidly gaining experience and moved out of the way, and he made a strategic tag there. Good tag by Rick Steiner at the appropriate time.
Jack Victory follows up with that elbow. Ted DiBiase, who doesn't need any excuse to get in the ring to mix it with anybody, was looking to, and over the top rope, they sent Chavo Guerrero as Carl Fergie was trying to get DiBiase out of the ring. Over the top rope, as fans are bringing to the attention of referee Carl Fergie, as Jack Victory frantically denied wrongdoing.
Well, obviously, he's not telling the truth. And we saw exactly what happened. Referee's in a tough position here. You know, I defend the officials. I think we have the best officiating staff in professional wrestling. But they can't see it all. Neither can the guys that officiate Sunday on the NFL or the Major League Baseball umpires. You're going to miss them sometimes.
Rick Steiner throwing that wallop right into the face of Chavo, who's still laid out on a concrete floor in the Coliseum. And you're absolutely correct. The referee can't see everything, as Carl Fergie now trying his best to do just that.
Pete, in regards to this Sunday, we might want to give the folks exactly how to get their tickets on Sunday if they're coming in from out of town, say Sunday afternoon. Where will tickets be available? Because I know a lot of people, after they are hearing this card, they're going to want to be with us this Sunday night.
Wrestling ticket office at 1919 Caroline will be open 9 in the morning till 4 in the afternoon. 4 in the afternoon, the box office opens up here at 5 p.m. at the Coliseum. Please come on in and see this match. For those of you out of town and those of you in town, you don't want to pass up this opportunity to see 3 title matches, a steel cage, a one-on-one battle with Dark Journey against Missy Hyatt, and there's much, much more.
Oh, yeah, midgets in the mixed tag match. Iceman Parsons back on the scene. Boy, he was in the lights. Chavo has taken a pounding, and it all started when they threw him over the top rope into the floor.
Rick Steiner now driving his face into the mat, not just once, but over and over again, as Rick Steiner, like a killer shark, I believe he smells blood, and he knows that if they can punish Chavo and keep away from DiBiase. Did you see Steiner? He threw that punch in again. DiBiase wanted to even the score with Rick Steiner, as Steiner in victory now showing a little bit of strategy, a little bit of controversial strategy at that.
Certainly was. It's working, but it's not ethical. It's not by the rules, but it's working as far as Steiner. But DiBiase's not going to stay out any longer. Fergie's having a heck of a time keeping DiBiase's composure, keeping him outside the ring.
The more DiBiase tries to get into the ring, the more Carl Fergie's keeping him out, as Rick Steiner and Jack Victory were taking advantage of the situation. Working over Chavo Guerrero, who has not only toppled over the top rope and landed on the concrete floor, but he has taken a lot of punishment, including that power body slam, as Rick Steiner was able to use his strength and his body weight to add that extra emphasis as Chavo crashed to the mat.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm very impressed with Steiner and Victory. They haven't teamed a great deal. Of course, neither has DiBiase and Chavo, but I'd be very honest with you. I thought that this match would not be as closely fought as it has been. And I'm not taking anything away from Chavo Guerrero or Ted DiBiase. My sentiments on those men were stated earlier in this match. I think they're two of the finest ever in professional wrestling. But I think what we're seeing is that Steiner and Victory are really improving their individual skills, and they've improved their tag team skills as well.
Chavo with a few well-placed driving elbows, but that was a well-placed knee by Rick Steiner. Months ago, I remember, Jim, you were telling wrestling fans, keep an eye on that Rick Steiner. You better keep an eye on him, because the more he stays involved, the more experience he gets, he's going to climb to the top.
I'll tell you, Pete, you know, I'm involved in college athletics. I officiate, have for the past 15 years in college and high school football and basketball, and you're around athletes on different levels, and you see someone with the God-given talent Steiner possesses, you know it's going to happen. It's inevitable. Look at that. Chavo's trying to power out, but Victory's leverage, and Chavo's strong on his legs, and escaping is Guerrero. Steiner seems a little bit bewildered there, as Chavo's close to the corner, and he has been in the match for several minutes now and has taken a tremendous amount of punishment, especially on his back. He needs to make the tag, quite obviously. I'm sure that's what he's working for.
Chavo trying to find a way to break loose of the attack of Jack Victory. He knows he's got a anxious Ted DiBiase waiting for him, but Chavo has not been able to get over in that corner. Maybe that would help his cause, as Chavo drove that boot in and Jack Victory toppled to the mat. Chavo, still dazed, Jim, didn't quite know what direction to go in, except he knows how to fight on instinct, and that's for sure.
He's in defensive posture now. He's trying to survive until he can get that tag, because he's really been subjected to a tremendous amount of punishment. So I think Chavo is in a survival state right now with this big, powerful man from Detroit, Michigan.
Rick Steiner sending Chavo into the rope. Chavo in a beautiful move. Flew over Rick Steiner. Rebound one. He was able to capitalize, but he actually flew over the Rick Steiner and tried to grab that quick pin.
Might have been better for Chavo that time to try to make the tag instead of going for the pin, but it's just instinctive. After having as many matches, Chavo, now there he needs to make the tag. That's a bot-like mule kick, a karate kick. Chavo possesses, and he was near his corner, but it's showing you how dazed he is. Now he's there. He saw DiBiase, so now the tag has been made.
DiBiase knows how to take care of business as he delivers one blow after, as he's taken on both men. He's been pent up and having that frustration. And Rick Steiner now feeling the wrath of Ted DiBiase. DiBiase set him up on a beautiful move. What a move by DiBiase. It has to be one of the most beautiful moves in wrestling when he's able to catch those big men. Jack Victory thrown into Ted DiBiase. Chavo still dazed.
Chavo still dazed. DiBiase's the legal man in the ring, and he was preparing to put the figure 4.
Well, we just had the 1, 2, 3 by Carl Fergie.
We've got a little confusion here. Now, DiBiase's on the floor, and Steiner clotheslined Chavo, but I thought that DiBiase was the legal man in the ring. Perhaps not.
Well, as Carl Fergie sure had a rough time in this match, but he called it a 1, 2, 3 pin victory for Ted DiBiase and Chavo Guerrero. Ted DiBiase now trying to convince Rick Steiner that it wasn't only an official victory. He wants to win the unofficial battle after the bell as well. Steiner's working him over to Jack Victory, but Chavo comes back in as DiBiase and Chavo add that one extra head collision to make their point.
Well, I'll tell you, they're taking it to him now. It's going to go in the record books as a victory for Ted DiBiase and Chavo Guerrero. I'd like to take a look at that film again sometime. But in any event, we've got winners. You're looking at them in the ring, and we certainly hope to see you this Sunday night. Remember, the action starts at 7, and the box office at 1919 Caroline opens at 9 o'clock sharp Sunday morning.
Be at the Coliseum for a tremendous night of Eastern Wrestling action Sunday night.
Trapped, and the fans love Dr. Death. Ooh. Clothesline, and Michael Hayes, all 4 men back in the ring. That cracked the skulls of the Freebirds, DiBiase and Williams. Power slam. DiBiase with a perfectly executed power slam on Michael Hayes. Dr. Death manhandling Buddy Roberts. He's got him up. There's a stampede. A partial stampede for Dr. Death. And Roberts is trying to get out of there with his life. Roberts, the veteran, moves out of the way. Dr. Death now going outside, as is Michael Hayes. There's DiBiase and Roberts in the ring. But look at the lumberjack. Gilbert the sticks. It's breaking loose. There's the fantastic Sting and Gilbert. They're fighting. There's all kinds of action breaking out on the floor. And DiBiase's in there. They've got a belt. They've called the disqualification. They've called. Michael Hayes has got a belt from somewhere. He's got the belt. He had it around DiBiase's neck, but now he's whipping him without letting the belt. But there's Dr. Death. Hayes caught off guard, and Terry Taylor lacerated with a victory. But Michael Hayes taking back over on Terry Taylor. He just hit the referee. That'll cost him some money. And he's taking that belt out. Remember last week, he whipped Ted DiBiase. There a massive welt on DiBiase's body. You saw. And now you listen to that. Listen to Hayes. He's whipping a helpless Terry Taylor who is bleeding with that belt suffering. Hayes, and there goes Ted DiBiase. Federation. Federation. I'm Jim Ross, along with Michael P.S. Hayes. We'll describe the action, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks very much for being with us. A very exciting hour and some very controversial footage.
Yeah, very controversial footage. Just kind of teach you like maybe your parents should have taught you. A good strap-in always teaches somebody a lesson.
Well, it sure does. I'll agree with that point. Ladies and gentlemen, a lot of exciting things happening in the area. I want to say hello to all of our friends in Denver, Colorado, KMGH, the home of Steve Dr. Death Williams. Also, a lot of exciting things happening. The Tulsa State Fair coming up this Friday night. Arkansas State Fair 1 week from Tuesday night.
Hey, now look, when we wrestle at these fair dates, I want to do my wrestling match, get out of there. You girls just leave me alone, all right? Don't bother following me around the midway.
All right, I'll even help you remind them.
I
from week to week.
That. I would really appreciate that.
Ladies and gentlemen, the big two-ring battle royals. Don't miss that tremendous sporting spectacular. So, the UWF heavyweight title will be decided in the hour. Terry Bam Bam Gordy against Steve Dr. Death Williams.
Well, this is it. He's back. He said he wants a shot. You're going to get it, boy, but you're going to see what it's like to walk down Bad Street and go after the biggest belt there is, the Universal Heavyweight Champion.
We have a lot of great standby matches pending the time in that heavyweight title match.
Yeah, I even signed for one.
Right.
Against the Iceman. But you know what? He's ducking me because, he's ducking Buddy, and he thinks by ducking Buddy going through me, he wants to slap your face, boy, but I'll go ahead and do it.
We're also going to have a very special feature. Steve Dr. Death Williams and Cowboy Bill Watts in Norman, Oklahoma, with wrestling coach Stanley Abel and head football coach for the University of Oklahoma Sooners, Barry Switzer. That and so much more in this hour. Plus the UWF Computerized Top 10, second edition. We'll have all that and so much more, but right now, let's go to ring announcer Mike Wilson.
Ladies and gentlemen, introducing first from Libya at 275 pounds, the Libyan! And introducing from Cotton Plant, Arkansas at 210 pounds, the Glassman! This match, 1 fall or 10-minute time limit.
The Tulsa Convention Center and Universal Wrestling Federation action. Jim Ross and Michael Hayes with you. Thanks very much for being with us, everybody, as the Glassman prepares to go against the Libyan. Ron West, the third man in the ring.
Here we go, the Libyan big man. He's had a couple wins, had a couple losses, but he's always keep trying. 275-pound man. He's definitely got the size advantage, but quick move by the Glassman. Good arm drag. Another good arm drag. Good drop kick. Speed is taking over size right here, Jim Ross, right here on the UWF.
Michael, just a couple of days ago, I was talking to a friend of mine that works for Billboard magazine that brought it to my attention that it was rumored that you, the Freebirds, along with David Lee Roth, had quite a party the other night in Little Rock, Arkansas.
Yeah, that's right. See, you're always into my business, man. You're always checking into stuff like Columbo or something. Yeah, we got together.
The guy called me.
Okay, we got together. We had a party. Jack Brothers got together, and we jacked on down. But you know what? David Lee, he's a great guy. He's a great entertainer, but that's what he is. He ain't nothing into wrestling, if that's what you know. He likes wrestling, but he ain't trying to get into it because he's great at what he does. But both of us, being party animals, and all four of us, along with his great band, agreed to one thing. If you're going to party, people, make sure that the driver ain't partying. Make sure he's straight.
Well, that's good advice.
Hey, I should know, okay?
Well,
let's get back to the match.
I agree. The Libyan, a much bigger man than the Glassman. The Libyan now taking over near fall just a few moments ago from the Glassman.
Libyan likes to use the forearms, if you notice that, Jim, week after week. Likes to use those big arms to his advantage.
Big, powerful man.
Good. Glassman is getting shattered right now. You know, I'd also like to take this time to say hello to Gerard and all the fine people at the ICU unit, Temple University. They're all a great bunch of people.
Fans from all over the country watching the program, as I mentioned.
Up in Philadelphia, up in Denver, LA is joined. Everybody is joining a hot thing. When something's hot, jump on the bandwagon, and it's UWF. Side headlock. Libyan shoots him in. Good high back drop. Good elbow. This could be it. He hooked the leg. 2, 3. That's it. He hooked that leg, Jim Ross. Very important.
That was the key to victory, and the victory is the Libyan. And we'll be back with that special feature from the University of Oklahoma right after this commercial timeout. Wrestling Federation. Right now, we're going to take a look at a very special feature. Steve Dr. Death Williams and Cowboy Bill Watts recently visited their alma mater, University of Oklahoma, in Norman, Oklahoma. Had quite a visit with some of the outstanding coaches and football players on the defending national championship squad. I think you'll find the next few moments very interesting. Let's go now to Norman, Oklahoma.
Who cares?
You can see Dr. Death's home, and we're here with the #1 defense in the nation on the #1 team in the nation, Coach Bobby Proctor, an old buddy of Doc's. They're taking a little breather here from the workout.
Little breather? We hadn't worked yet, but we're getting ready to.
Surprise, surprise, look who's back, huh? Oh, look at that. They're #1 defense in the nation, and look at who's right there. Coach Proctor, #1 defensive coach. I just want to give you this jersey, or I should say shirt, of Dr. Death. And let me tell you something. Hey, it's good to be back home, guys. You guys all right.
It's great to be back here. I've spent a lot of sweaty days on this field. And, of course, Stanley Abel here, the wrestling coach at the University of Oklahoma, and Barry Switzer, the #1 football coach in the nation. And this is also the home of Dr. Death, where he was an All-American here in wrestling and played football for Barry, and you're on the road to your 4th national title.
Well, we hope so. We got out of the gate pretty fast against UCLA. I think it surprised everyone. I thought we'd be a good football team this year, but, you know, we still got 10, 11 games to play yet, Bill, and it's everyone's excited the way we played and looked against UCLA, but we know we got a tough schedule, and we're going to have to play good. You got to be lucky. They're not all Saturdays going to be like that. Same way when you go out and wrestle, right?
That's right, and, you know, I think in your job, too, I remember the Olympic hockey coach when he said, how'd you like your job to depend on what a bunch of 18, 19, 20-year-old kids, how they're going to perform on one day a week?
Yeah, I agree with that, and Stan Abel and I understand that better than anybody.
Yeah, we're going to be really young this year, too. See, I need Steve Williams back. Barry doesn't. He's got all these horses back. We're going to be, we had a Steve Williams, but we're trying to produce this another one.
Well, Doc just won the award as the most improved wrestler in professional wrestling, and, of course, both of you had him very young. Barry, Stan, you turned me on to him, and I came down and talked to you, Coach, and you really endorsed his career. It's unusual to find a guy that was a two-sport letterman like
Well, he was a great high school football player. He was a great player in college. Steve had great quickness and speed and strength. He had the best flexibility of any big man I've ever seen. To be a 300-pounder, can do the splits and the stretching exercise, flexibility exercises that he could do. That was unbelievable. Isn't that right, Sam?
Oh, I tell you what, he's one of the best athletes we ever had, and I have no doubt if he could have spent more time wrestling, Barry would graciously give him to us as soon as the Orange Bowl was over with. We'd catch him the next day, and he'd be on a road trip with us, not having any prior workouts, and still win for us. I've had the opportunity to watch him wrestle professionally several times now, and the first time that I saw him wrestle was just shortly after he began, and I couldn't believe how advanced he was as comparison to people that had started about the same time he did. But he is quick to adapt of anything, and I think he's going to be one of your all-time great stars.
We're here with Pete Martinelli, the strength and conditioning coach at the University of Oklahoma, and, of course, this is the factory where he takes those skinny little kids that come out of the high schools and turn them into the big gorillas.
The big guys, Bill. Remember that now.
Turns them into these gorillas that are on the #1 football team in the nation. And, of course, Pete, is really great for me to come home and see this, because when I played at the University of Oklahoma, I was 229 pounds and the heaviest guy on the team, and that was before I found out about weight training, too. So we were talking about that earlier, but here's a specimen that you didn't have to really put a lot of meat on, did you?
No, we always kept trying to keep a little weight off of this big horse. I mean, he was always in the gym, and it got to a point there where I was beginning to wonder whether I was going to be able to keep enough weight in the gym for him to lift. He was always working hard. He came in when he was always supposed to come in, and he really took pride in how he took care of himself and the way he trained during his football career here at OU.
There it says it, Oklahoma, Pride of Oklahoma, Pete, right here. You know something, I was about 317 pounds, but I saw the light. You know, Pete right here showed me how to lift one of these up and down things, you know, what they call weights. You know something, I want to tell all you kids out there, if you're watching me right now, this is the best thing to you. Makes you feel good, makes you feel healthy. And I'll tell you something, if you're a little guy skinny and start working out, you might be out there with the Oklahoma Sooners, national champions. Thanks a lot, Pete. I really appreciate it.
Well, one thing about it, after they've been in your program, there's not going to be any bullies at the beach kicking sand in their face, is there?
No, we try to make sure we keep them pretty strong, pretty healthy all year long, so we keep them pretty busy in here as far as training every time of the year, the in-season, the off-season. We push them pretty hard.
Do you think there's anything you could do for Stan Abel, the wrestling coach here?
Oh, sure. We just got to be able to get him in here. That's the biggest step. And once we get him in, we can handle him.
Thank you, Pete.
Okay, big deal. Oklahoma University, defending champions, Barry Switzer, some of the stars. You're going to win it this year. You got to get by Georgia. You got to get by Alabama as far as I'm concerned. But let me tell you something, boy. You're going for the biggest thing in the universe, the universal heavyweight champion. And you ain't going to have no head coach. And you ain't going to have 10 guys on the side. So you listen to what the champions got to say before you walk down Bad Street. You understand?
What Michael Hayes is referring to are some comments from Terry Bam Bam Gordy. We're going to hear those comments.
Hey, I speak English.
And then we'll be right back for the UWF Heavyweight Championship. But first, please listen to this.
Dr. Death, you're looking at the best man in professional wrestling today. You're looking at the master of the universe. You know, I know that you was all-American. But let me tell you something, boy. When you come for this title right here, you don't have 10 other men behind you. You're just going to have me and you, and I'm going to kick your guts out.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Jim Ross and Michael Hayes in the Tulsa Convention Center as we prepare for the UWF Heavyweight Championship encounter.
And there he is, my big brother, Bam Bam, returning from the Far East, and still the biggest man in wrestling as far as wearing the top belt.
Heavyweight champion from Bad Street, USA at 296 pounds, Freebird, Terry Bam Bam Gordy.
There's your champion.
He destroyed all competition in the Far East. But this is not the Far East. This is the heart of America in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And another capacity crowd here in the Tulsa Convention Center as we await the arrival of the All-American from the University of Oklahoma, Dr. Death Williams. You've heard what the coaches and the players have to say about that extraordinary athlete.
But they ain't here now. It's just him. No 10 other guys. No head coach.
At 207 Dr. Death Williams. This match for the Universal Wrestling Federation Heavyweight Championship. One fall or television time.
And ladies and gentlemen, this match, one fall or television time remaining. Once again, we're putting this big television main event on early in the hour. We're doing it for our great fans at home. We respect your mail. We got a lot of great standby matches. A lot of dignitaries here tonight.
You know what? I'm going to tell you something. It's a good idea to put it on so you can get all the match. But I know it ain't going to go that long because it ain't going to take him that long to teach this boy that he's out there without a football team and without pads. So I'm going to go set up, put my boots on, go get ready for the Iceman, and show you that he never needed us to win the belt, me and Buddy, and he don't need us now. He did it on his own, and he's going to do it again. So bye-bye, baby. You take over the show. Now, don't turn off, ladies. Just leave it because he's going to get rid of him quick, and I'll be back.
All right, Michael Hayes, ladies and gentlemen, going to the dressing room. He says he will not interfere in the match. I hope that's what he said the last time, too, that these two men met. Be that as it may, sit back and enjoy one of the most tremendous battles that we've ever had the opportunity to bring you here on the Universal Wrestling Federation. Dr. S.D. Williams falling away, belly to back with Terry Bam Bam Gordy. Now remember that Gordy has just returned from a very successful trip to the Orient, but Dr. Death has returned to action from a very heart-rendering stay in the hospital. And the doctor remembers everything that happened in the Lakefront Arena in New Orleans when the Freebirds pile drived him on the concrete floor. And this classic matchup, Dr. Death in phenomenal condition at 272 pounds. Gordy weighing in at a stout 296. And this is for the heavyweight championship. Clothesline by Dr. Death. Lateral press. Early in the contest, going for that pinning predicament. Tremendous accolades bestowed on Steve Dr. Death Williams, and very rightfully so, from wrestling coach Stan Abel, where Doc was a four-time All-American, and from Barry Switzer, the legendary head coach of the Oklahoma Sooners, where Doc was a three-year starter. Dr. S.D. Williams with those elbows, dropping them right on the head of Terry Bam Bam Gordy. Right hand, and this has been all Dr. Death. Dr. Death with an inverted atomic. And that will send you to the chiropractor and other medical experts in a hurry, as Gordy was going to leave the ring, but Dr. Death brought him gingerly back into the ring, and Dr. Death with those big hams, those big clubbing right hands, and Gordy warning outside, and Dr. Death once again bringing him back into the ring. It is one-on-one between two of the most superb athletes in all of professional wrestling. There are no seconds at the ring. Only two great athletes and the referee, and another near fall for Dr. Death. Gordy going to the ropes for the break. Carl Fergie, the all-important third man in the ring in this confrontation. Flying mare by Dr. Death. Dr. Death using his head as a battering ram. Doc feels it as well, but certainly Gordy feels it even more so. The crowd very intently watching this contest. Dr. Death now with a belly-to-back suplex on Terry Bam Bam Gordy. Gordy kicks out. Dr. Death raking the eyes of Gordy. He cares not about the rules in this encounter. He knows it's for the heavyweight championship. Now Doc setting Gordy for the pile driver. Gordy powers out. Dr. Death was setting Gordy for the pile driver. And now Gordy getting on the attack. Remember, Dr. Death's neck is not 100%. I wish I could say it was. There's no way that it could be at 100% after the injury just a few weeks ago. And Gordy trying to, but Dr. Death blocking it, and Gordy's head is into the turnbuckle. Dr. Death Steve Williams taking over on Terry Bam Bam Gordy. Right hand by Dr. Death, and Gordy goes down. Look at the determination covering the face of Dr. Death Steve Williams, as I don't think I've seen Dr. Death this aggressive in a long, long time. His facial expression, his methodical movements tell the story. He is here to inflict pain on Terry Gordy and to walk away from this ring on this night with the heavyweight championship. Dr. Death now with that reverse chin lock on Gordy. Williams has really dictated the pace and controlled the tempo. With the exception of one offensive flurry by the champion, it has been all Dr. Death Steve Williams. We'll be telling you later in the hour about some big UWF events coming up this week. Also about next week's television program. Gordy goes to the roundhouse right, but Dr. Death blocks it. And that's a second right hand. And number 3 by Dr. Death Steve Williams. Dr. Death now on the second rope. Those stinging right hands to the side of the face. And Bam Bam may well wish he was back in the Orient. Dr. Death now throwing Gordy. Williams elevated Gordy, and that's quite a chore. He's 296. Lateral press. 2 count. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, we will be having to take a commercial commitment in this segment, but we will keep the cameras rolling. We have plenty of time. We hope to see all this tremendous action for the UWF Heavyweight Championship. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back with more of the UWF Heavyweight title. Don't go away. We'll be right back after this very brief timeout. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Terry Bam Bam Gordy, while we're at the commercial break, freed himself of the predicament that Dr. Death had him in. Gordy has taken over now on Steve Williams. He has run Dr. Death's shoulder into that ring post, and the second time it has happened. Dr. Death Steve Williams, at the hands of The UWF champion has had tremendous punishment inflicted on his shoulder. Gordy ramming Dr. Death's shoulder to the steel ring post not once but 2 times. And the 3rd time, as Gordy quite obviously is trying to separate or knock down, more importantly, incapacitate the shoulder of Steve Dr. Death Williams in this classic battle for the UWF Heavyweight Championship. Standing suplex by Terry Gordy. It was perfect, and now Gordy for the lateral press, but he did not have the leg grapevine. He did not have the man secure enough for that 3 count. Both men very cautious. Now Gordy going for that pile driver, and Dr. Death exploding out of the blocks, ramming Gordy to the turnbuckle. And Williams back on the attack. The doctor is relentless. Williams with a clothesline, and then planted the champion. I thought Doc might have covered him right there, but Williams has another idea. And it's a pile driver, and he hit it. Dr. Death just hit the pile driver on Terry Gordy. Dr. Death senses what is about to happen. He has taken over. The tide has turned. Momentum has shifted. And now Williams runs the shoulder of Gordy into the post. Perhaps he should have followed up on the pinning predicament, but he had Gordy on Dream Street, and now once again returning that punishment in kind to Terry Gordy. What an athlete. What a pair of athletes you're seeing right here. Where else but the Universal Wrestling Federation? The heavyweight championship on the line. Dr. Death has really stunned Terry Gordy. I don't think Gordy knows where he is. It was Williams with a pile driver, and it was Williams throwing Gordy into that post on 2 occasions, and Gordy seemingly helpless in that corner. And Williams is more interested in pain and agony and blues as he is in securing the heavyweight championship of the Universal Wrestling Federation. It was Williams who had the long hospital stay. And Dr. Death with a 2nd pile driver, and you saw it. And the crowd, so many of them standing, so many of them sensing they'll see a new champion. Gordy in deep trouble. And the most prestigious single wrestling championship in our profession hangs in the balance. And Williams with a right hand. Dr. Death, he may be off his game plan. Right now it's not to pin, but to hurt somebody. He doesn't care who it is. It just happens to be Terry Gordy. He's the free bird. He's got it. Gordy is lacerated. Dr. Death's big hands have opened up a large gash on Terry Gordy. And now it's Gordy with a pile driver. And these 2 big men have collided in the center of the squared circle. The crowd becoming so much involved in this confrontation. Here in Tulsa, another capacity crowd at the convention as Gordy's face is a mask of clarence. Williams is dazed. What a battle. Oh, Gordy went for a flying body press, and he has annihilated Carl Fergie. Dr. Death dropped down, but that Gordy with that inside drop cradle. There's referee Tommy Gilbert in the ring. Thank goodness for the standby official, as Fergie is helpless. Dr. Death has got Terry Gordy. There went Tommy Gilbert. But Dr. Death and Gordy's foot is on the rope. Dr. Death with a partial stampede. Both referees have been knocked down, but the referee telling Dr. Death only a 2 count. It was only a partial feed. Gilbert was knocked. The referee was hit in the face. It threw Doc's balance off, and now Gordy taking back over on Williams. It's all on the line right here, and you're seeing it right here on the UWF. Dr. Death, belly to back suplex. Both referees are counting, and we've got a pinfall. I think we've got a new champion. The referees, both of them were down. Dr. Death has his hand up. The crowd is jubilant in Tulsa. Carl Fergie is holding Dr. Death's hand up. But Tommy Gilbert, one referee is signaling Dr. Death. We seem to have a difference of opinion here. Terry Gordy's leaving with a belt, but one of the referees is raising Dr. Death's hand. I don't know where. We'll find out, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back. Don't go away. We've got more UWF action coming up after this.
Man, Paul Bosch, you get on my nerves. I told you that when I first came to Houston, okay? And let me tell you something, big deal. If the Astros won the Western Division, they're not going to win the championship, and they ain't going to the World Series. Just like you, Dr. Death, you ain't going through bird number 2. I heard you out here bragging. Yeah. I done beat one, there's 2 more to go. Well, you got PS this time, and this time, brother, the PS ain't gonna stand for purely sexy. It's gonna be purely sadistic, because I know what you want to do to me inside that legendary cage. You want to take my face and grate it across that cage and see the blood come from it, don't you? Because there's no way in and there's no way out. It's kind of like a Hotel California. But you know what, man? I got some plans, too, because I know you want to pile drive me, too, don't you? Don't you? You want to end it all for me right there this Sunday night. But it's not going to happen, man. I'll find a way.
You know what, Dark Journey? I'm not a wrestler. I'm a lady, as you can see. I'm even a pretty lady, as you can see. A lot better than what you're going to look like when I get done with you. Because we have got to have a match, just you and me in Houston. Okay, that's fine. No more mixed tag. Last time, I tore you up. I drug you all around the ring. So come on, let's have a match, just you and me. Because you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to rip pantyhose right off of you. I'm going to pull your hair out. You know, Hollywood's been teaching me a few moves. So, hey, I'm going to teach you something about this wrestling business, lady. I'm going to teach you that you shouldn't even be in it.
Send her home.
Good. You know, devastation is growing and growing and growing with the acquisition of Savannah Jack and, of course, the one-man gang. This Sunday night in Houston at the Sam Houston Coliseum, the Bayou City. And at last, boom, boom, baby Huey, Terry Gordy, who won the UWF title on May the 30th by a dead-ass fluke. And all you Americans in Houston, you know what I'm talking about. Well, this time around, the punk slapper is going to teach you the difference between men and boys, baby Huey, because he's going to take that UWF title away from you. And you, Michael, had punks like you for supper every day of the year. One-man gang.
We know, General, Sunday night there's not a better day in the week to win the UWF title. Terry Gordy, you better go early in the morning and give thanks at your local synagogue for holding that UWF title as long as you've held it, because it's coming to an end in Houston, Texas, just a few hours away. I'm going to walk down the aisle and I'm going to beat you 1, 2, 3 for the title, the new champion in Houston, Texas.
And if I see you, Hayes, you're that no-good Buddy Roberts interfering in that match, you're going to pay and pay dearly, because I'm the Godfather, mister. And don't you ever forget it, because if you want to get hurt, you'll mess around with devastation, because this is going to be a clear-cut title match.
With us, a lot of controversy involving that last situation. The man sitting to my left is certainly no stranger to wrestling fans around this great bar, ours. The legendary man from Perry, Oklahoma, Danny Hodge, is with us. Dan, thanks very much for dropping by.
Hey, it's my pleasure, Jim.
Danny, an alumnus of the University of Oklahoma, here to watch Steve Dr. Death Williams in that heavyweight championship encounter. We'll be talking to Danny as the hour progresses about a very special situation that he will be involved in here in the Universal Wrestling Federation in the next few weeks. Also, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to show a feature on Hot Stuff and Hyatt International in just a few moments. But before we do, here's a look at this week's UWF Top 10. This week's Universal Wrestling Federation Top 10 sees Hollywood John Tatum at number 10, 241 pounds, Hollywood, California. Freebird Buddy Roberts, number 9, 231 pounds from Bad Street, USA. Chavo Guerrero, Los Angeles, California, holding the number 8 spot. Steve Dr. Death Williams moving up to number 7. The Missing Link for Parts Unknown at number 6. Freebird Michael Hayes at number 5, followed by Ted DiBiase at number 4. Hacksaw Jim Duggan at number 3. The One Man Gang at number 2. And Terry Taylor, the television, still the number 1 contender. That look at the UWF Top 10. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I did a special feature just a few days ago surrounding the breakup of Hyatt and Hot Stuff International. Let's go now to that feature.
And Dark Journey will get Missy Hyatt as a valet for a day. We got to get the camera to this situation. What a feature this is going to make. I want to get the camera to this and see what that young lady has in store for her. Look at her face. She's going to be cleaning floors and a lot of other things that we're going to have the camera there. And she is really chastising Tatum. She was really depending on John to win the match, and Eddie Gilbert was there in his plan. And look at these guys. I knew this situation was coming. Remember the powder? They have had a lot of plans backfire. Missy's trying to get this situation. And I don't know, they're not going to, there's fire in the eyes, ladies and gentlemen, as Missy's trying to get a little order restored. We're not going anywhere. We're going to keep the camera right here. They've had several plans backfire. There's not much chemistry between Tatum and Gilbert. I can tell you that firsthand. I've seen it on and off camera. And Tatum sucker punch Eddie Gilbert. And Tatum working over Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert. But here comes Sting. Hyatt and Hot Stuff International is falling apart. Now Sting with his partner Eddie Gilbert, they're beating up John Tatum. And there's Jack Victory, and he's taking up for Tatum. And Missy, she's seeing it all fall. Hot Stuff and Hyatt International falling. It is crumbling before our very eyes right here. And the crowd is sitting in stunned, virtually stunned silence, because they don't care if all four of these guys beat each other to death. You have just witnessed what people in pro wrestling will be talking about. You have seen it right here on the UWF, the fall of Hyatt and Hot Stuff International. There's no way this thing can be reconciliated. And Missy's now got to determine who she's leaving with. Is it going to be Hot Stuff or is it going to be Hollywood John Tatum? They fought over, their plans have all backfired, and she's already going to be valet for a day. What's she going to do? She wants to go with us. And Missy, by the looks of things, is going with Hollywood. Eddie Gilbert has lost the girl.
Well, Missy, we've just seen the footage, and not only did we see the valet for a day situation go in the favor of Dark Journey, but we also saw the breakup of Hyatt and Hot Stuff International. Now, I want to talk about a couple of things here. Your thoughts on the valet for a day. Dark Journey says she's got a whole list of things for you to do.
I just don't understand whose idea this was for the valet of the day. Anyway, it's just not fair. I mean, I don't even know what she's going to have me do. I mean, it might even, God, just mess me up and everything.
Jack Victory as a team, huh?
Well, you guys are a great team, but we're talking about the valet for a day situation.
Hollywood lost. I just can't believe he lost, Johnny. I mean, you're going to make me do all this stuff.
Well, John Tatum, I can understand him feeling a little bit uneasy about this situation, but now that he's gone, let me ask you this. Valet for a day stands on its own. You're going to have to do those things, but What do you think? Breakup of Hyatt and Hot Stuff International. That's the second thing we saw on that tape.
Well, I don't know what's really going on with that. I really want to try to get everybody back together because I really want all the guys there to protect me so things like the Valet of the Day won't happen.
We don't need him, Missy.
You know, it's just, I need to talk with Johnny. I need to get him together because I really do like Eddie. I mean, Eddie's like fun and he's really great and all the other guys. I mean, if we can get them all together, I mean, it could be great. I mean, I could have like all the belts, all the UWF world belt, the tag belts, I mean, the TV belts. I can just have everything. I mean, I just want us all to, you know, be together.
So you're going to try, obviously, it looks to me like you're trying to get everybody back together in this situation. It's kind of a...
Ross, we don't need to get back together because that Eddie Gilbert is nothing but trouble. You understand? Me and Jack get the job done. Do you understand that? He is nothing but trouble. It was because of Eddie Gilbert.
No, it was Dart's fault. You're the one that lost. Gosh, now I got to do that. I mean, Jim, look, when I do the Valet of the Day, I mean, like, you're not going to have the cameras out there, are you?
Of course we're going to have the cameras out there. Of course we're going to have that. We're going to have the cameras there from start to finish, and we're going to document every single thing that happens.
Why? That's not fair. I hate you, and I hate everybody.
Well, she's certainly not pleased, but she will be the valet for a day, and we'll have it right here next week on the Universal Wrestling Federation, and we'll have more action coming your way right after this.
Great fans for the Fantastics, and every time we come there, we know they're going to give us 110% of their support as long as we put out 110%. Now, last time in Houston, I'm not blaming any referees on what happened. It's not the referee's fault. One referee was knocked down, made a count. The other referee seen what was happening out, and it was a big mix-up. Now it's come down to 2 or 3 fall match. Now, Eddie Gilbert and Sting, it's been a long time in professional wrestling since wrestlers had to go 2 or 3 falls. That means if you get the first 2 pins, and get the first 2 falls, the match is all over. Now, this is a time to settle everything. The titles are at stake, and the people know the bad blood between the Fantastics and you, Eddie Gilbert and Sting. Hot Stuff International. Well, guys, let me tell you right now, we plan on coming to Houston and doing one thing, taking you guys out 2 straight and getting those belts for the great people of Houston. Tommy, we're excited and fired up about this.
That's right, Bobby. Houston, Texas. No better place for the Fantastics to go a 2 out of 3 fall, because them fans are going to be behind us, and we're walking out of that ring winners.
Ladies and gentlemen, introducing of Devastation Incorporated from Chicago at 350 pounds, Bad Leroy Brown. His opponent, now entering the ring from Austin, Texas at 235 pounds, Bobby Perez. This match, 1 fall or television time remaining.
Here we are, ladies and gentlemen, back at the Capacity Tulsa Convention Center. Jam-packed. Jim Ross along with Danny Hodge with you here at ringside. And Dan, the man on the outside, General Skandar Akbar, is the man that you know probably better than anybody else. And you're going to be handcuffed to him in just the next few days in a big matchup involving Hacksaw Duggan and the one-man gang.
Akbar, he's got a short memory, a big mouth. I've been watching many months, watching all the young stars, hoping to be new champions, and that's their desire. And I've been watching Akbar and his team. He even tried to get me to join his team. You know, he's crazy.
He is, Danny. Of course, the UWF is one of the premier wrestling areas in the country, as you well know. Look at this big man, another member of Devastation Incorporated, Bad Leroy Brown, a man that has been around the horn, so to speak. He has left a lot of bodies laying behind him. He is a big man, well over 300 pounds, and Akbar has got not only this big man, but the one-man gang, Wild Bill Irwin and Savannah Jack, Devastation Incorporated, and a devastating clothesline by Bad Leroy Brown.
He is that, very bad.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, ladies and gentlemen. We all remember the power that Danny Hodge packed in that right hand. He'll be handcuffed to General Akbar. It will be a fair fight. You can count on that. Woo! Oh, that was tremendous elevation by a man that well over 300 pounds, probably in the neighborhood of 350, is Leroy Brown. Look at how high he is off the mat, Dan.
Oh, it's devastating. One thing, Akbar may not forget, I did knock him out one time, and I could do it again.
Exactly right. That is a very, very good point, Akbar. Remember that if you ever listen to this particular portion of this program. And ladies and gentlemen, we've got more time on the program. The Iceman takes on Freebird Michael Hayes right after this. Time out.
Yes, finally, Houston, Texas this Sunday night. Finally, Sting, we are going to be able to prove to everybody in Houston, Texas who the real Universal Wrestling Federation Tag Team Champions are, because last time, all you people in Houston, Texas saw it. This man right here, partner Sting, pinned Bobby Fulton, and we won the belts. But no, my dad, Tommy, Father Knows Best Gilbert, says that he came down and counted him out. Well, how could he do that when referee Carl Fergie counted Bobby Fulton out, and when we really won the match, when Carl Fergie was the real official in the match? Well, just another matter of the UWF sticking their noses in and saying, no, we've got to hold the belts up again. Well, this time, buddies, it's going to be 2 out of 3 falls, and that means just 1 fall is not going to matter. Just 2 falls is not going to matter, but when we get to that 3rd fall, it's all going to be over, and Sting and myself are going to walk out of Houston, Texas, the UWF tag.
From Bad Street, USA, at 240 pounds, Freebird, Michael P.S. Hayes.
Michael Hayes making his way to the ring to meet Iceman King Parsons. Great UWF action this Sunday night at 7 o'clock in Houston. This Sunday at 3 o'clock in Lake Charles, Louisiana. Baton Rouge Tuesday night. Big card in Alexandria Thursday night. And, of course, the big one we're all looking forward to, the Tulsa State Fair event this Friday night at 7:30 in Tulsa. Super action coming to the Arkansas State Fair. I want to correct that date. It's Tuesday, September 30th in Little Rock at Barton Coliseum during the Arkansas State Fair. Barton Coliseum Tuesday night, September the 30th. Back in Wichita, Kansas City, Memphis, Wichita Falls, Texas in the next few weeks. UWF growing by leaps and bounds. And, Bruce, we should have a great battle. The Iceman going against Freebird Michael Hayes here. And, ladies and gentlemen, this is a standby match. We'll keep the match here as long as we possibly can. It's great to see Danny Hodge with us.
I'll tell you, Jim, what a standby match it is. The Iceman King Parsons returning to the UWF, and he's got a little message for Michael P.S.
You know, Buddy Roberts has had quite a situation going with Iceman King Parsons for a couple of years. It's been one of those situations that never really got settled. A lot of things, a lot of bad blood here. It looks like that's what they're talking about. Freebird Michael Hayes and Buddy Roberts as the Iceman coming into camera shot here. And Ted DiBiase, Bruce, following the Iceman to the squared circle.
That's right. The Iceman knows that Buddy Roberts is going to be there with Michael P.S. Hayes, and he's not coming to the ring alone. And what better man to have by his side but Ted DiBiase?
No doubt about it.
St. Louis, Missouri, at 235 pounds, the Iceman King Parsons.
Iceman King Parsons with his traditional theme song, Sister Sledge, We Are Family. That's how he considers the fans of the Universal Wrestling Federation.
That's right. He considers all the fans a part of his family, and he's getting down here at Tulsa.
Ted DiBiase's got a belt in his hand, and rightfully so. Remember what happened. Those big whelps that Michael Hayes left on his body.
Well, I'll tell you, he's got a reminder every time he looks in the mirror, Jim, those welts on the back.
Ladies and gentlemen, right here next week on the program, big one-on-one battle, Terry Taylor against the one-man gang, and we'll have valet for a day footage next week. Missy's not too happy about us having our cameras there, but be that as it may, we'll have some of that footage for you right here next week on the program as the Iceman is strutting and strolling his stuff. And we're inside 1 minute here, ladies and gentlemen, on the Universal Wrestling Federation program. What a phenomenal card this Sunday night at 7 o'clock in Houston, and at 3 o'clock for all you fans in Lake Charles. Big events all through the area. Great seats are still on sale for the Tulsa State Fair event this Friday night at 7:30.
And Michael Hayes doesn't look too happy to see the Iceman return, and the Iceman's cooking with gasoline.
You know, Michael Hayes said Buddy Roberts that wanted the Iceman. I don't know why he didn't sign the contract. Iceman will fight him. It's really been a great hour, ladies and gentlemen. We still do not have word back. They're reviewing the tape of the UWF Heavyweight Championship matchup. We will do everything within our power to have the results of that situation as Buddy Roberts taking over on Iceman King Carson. Teddy Pace is right there. DiBiase with a belt on Freebird Buddy Roberts.
It's been good to have you with us, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back again next Saturday and Sunday, so you watch Houston Wrestling, and so long, everyone.
Houston Wrestling.
First match of the television action is underway from the Sam Houston Coliseum. My name is Peter Burkholz, and I'm privileged to have with me today to help me with this first match is promoter Paul Bosch.
And I tell you, Pete, it's going to be a pleasure to be here on this Sunday night because we are going to have some great action for the folks at home, and this crowd that's filing into the Sam Coliseum is really going to see a world of action. Our next wrestling action will take place here in the Sam Houston Coliseum on Friday, October 17th. You start making your plans now, because we're start making our plans to make it a huge affair.
Well, we have a great crowd on store for us today here in the Coliseum as we are watching Gary Young up against Rick Steiner. We've seen Rick Steiner through the months, a powerful athlete, a well-conditioned athlete, as he goes up against Gary Young, who has spent a lot of time in wrestling. He took a few-year absence, but he's back giving professional wrestling his full 110%. So up in the ring, you see Steiner as he moves around, as he is fully aware of his athletic ability, and that is his sure power and athletic ability. The way he picked up the 250 pounds of Gary Young sent him flying. Rick Steiner, former Michigan football star, a man who's got tremendous athletic ability, who has selected professional wrestling as a sport that he feels will give him the type of career that he's looking for. And look at that strong upper body of Rick Steiner. Gary Young's going to have a tough time keeping Rick Steiner under grips with that kind of strength.
Well, I think anybody has a tough time trying to keep Rick Steiner in line, because he has natural power, he has wrestling ability, he has all-round athletic ability. He's just a tough guy to handle.
Well, every time we see him in action here at the Coliseum, we can see a few more pieces of evidence that the hot stuff Eddie Gilbert having a little bit more control over Rick Steiner. Tonight he came into the ring wearing the same type sunglasses that hot stuff Eddie Gilbert wears. But right now he could use whatever knowledge and hot stuff Eddie Gilbert possesses, he could use in this particular matchup against Gary Young, because Gary Young is a crafty veteran.
Well, Young, of course, started his wrestling career here in Houston. And then, for a while, he decided that he was going to go into business. And then he came back to make wrestling his business. And I think that his comeback here is worthy of note, because he has improved over the period that he left.
He surely has, and you can tell every time we see him in action that the 100% time that he has devoted back to wrestling is paying off big dividends for him. Rick Steiner outside the ring, a huge crowd here in the Coliseum, and they're still following through. They came to see Super Sunday in September, as Houston Wrestling is already preparing to come back with even a bigger blockbuster on October 17th. You're going to hear so much about that tremendous card that's for so much to you wrestling fans, live and in person, Friday, October 17th. Now, Gary Young, again, showing that he spent some time in the gym as well, lifting weights, and has that raw strength, because that's a big man in Rick Steiner to throw to the mat in that particular fashion.
Well, even powerful men like Steiner have to succumb to leverage, and powerful men are affected by that contact with the mat. When you come down with that crashing and resounding contact where your whole body hits that mat, it doesn't matter how much muscle you got, it's just how much that muscle can stand. And the size of muscle is not always indicative of its ability to shield you like a cushion.
Super Sunday in September, we're urging you to get your tickets early and be here for October 17th. Houston Wrestling is got great momentum right now, as this is one of the best fall seasons in the history of Houston, and the action will continue October 17th.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, Pete. The promoters and wrestlers all over the country marvel at the enthusiasm of Houston wrestling fans. This Go Gary Go is only part of it, but the enthusiasm they show in putting their signs around and getting their favorites and backing their favorites is the marvel of the wrestling world. And there are many, many people who are maybe better known but never get the enthusiastic reception that are gained by some people here at Houston Wrestling. Reverse headlock, and Young is in trouble as those feet on the rope give him just a little bit of extra effort, and also it gives him the opportunity to distract the referee, and then while the referee is looking at the feet, something happens on the other end.
We have 3 minutes left in the match. We are 17 minutes deep into this match. Again, Steiner putting his feet on the ropes, trying to get that extra leverage to get the shoulders of Young down to the mat. Tommy Gilbert, who's had his hands full in this match, is able to catch Steiner that time and call for the break. Driving, vicious, punishing face into the turnbuckle by Steiner that time, as he realized the minutes are ticking by, and a vicious clothesline. He literally tried to take Gary Young's head right off his shoulders.
Yes, and his feet went right out from under him. They came up at a tremendous angle that almost was straight with the canvas. And it shows two things. It shows he was coming fast. It shows that Rick Steiner has a powerful arm with which to deliver that particular hold. And if Gary survives, it'll prove that he's tough.
Well, the style Rick Steiner has unfolded before us as he uses these tight holds to the opponents. As 2 minutes remain in this match, Rick Steiner staying with that reverse chin lock. A hold that's good for his style, except time's running out on this match, but he likes to punish his opponents and wear them down.
Well, he's only got less than 2 minutes to wear him down, and if he hasn't done it yet, he won't. He ducked that. Oh, that hit him in the jaw, right between the eyes, I would say, because it was extended beyond. But oh, he missed his effort to apply the clothesline and applied a punishing blow that was aided by the speed that he was running, and he wasn't trying to help it any either.
Well, again, let's tip our hats at Gary Young, as one more time he was not ready to come, and now he's got Steiner wrapped up, as Gary Young has not given up, and that time his determination almost paid off in a victory. Despite the wallop to the face and all the punishment he's taken, Gary Young is coming back against Steiner, as the hometown favorite Gary Young showing the fans here in the crowd that he is very worthy of their support. 1 minute, 60 seconds left in the match, and a drop kick by Young has Steiner down. Young's on top. We've got one, we've got two, but he came so close.
Oh, that man just inhaled then, and his chest went up, and he threw him up at the same time to get out from the back body drop, and he landed like the proverbial ton of brick. And Young trying to set him up again. Half a minute to go.
And now the sleeper, as Gary Young trying to apply the sleeper, as he's got 30 seconds left to try to squeeze a victory out of Rick Steiner. A hard-fought match. Gary Young has kept the pressure on. 15 seconds remain. Referee Tommy Gilbert watching it close as the countdown continues, and Steiner is down. Steiner, don't know if he's out yet or not, but time has run out. Very Young here in the first match, as he heads Rick Steiner in a sleep hold.
Is a time limit draw.
The verdict by referee Tommy Gilbert, a time limit draw.
Time limit draw, but I want to tell you there was a lucky man underneath. He's suffering some of the effects of the sleep hold right now, but too late, and it doesn't matter, and I think Steiner knows that.
Gary Young turned in superb effort up against Rick Steiner, but nevertheless it goes down in the books as a time limit draw. We'll be back with more exciting professional wrestling action in just 1 moment. For 17th, but Houston Wrestling has that big blockbusting card. There'll be a 6-man tag war that has fans talking. General Skandal Akbar's Army of Devastation Incorporated includes a big one-man gang. Savannah Jack plus Bad Brown.
Brown. And you know, you little taco bender, I'm talking to you, Chavo. You got just a little taste when you stuck your nose in my business. Well, now you're going to join forces with the dirtiest and the smelliest, no-good hippie that walks the face of the earth, and that's Jim Duggan. And they got that miserable link, you know. I managed the missing link at one time. I knew what it took to keep the link in place, because I beat his dirty hide every day, and I kept him secluded in a room where he couldn't commute with any kind of society. He's an animal. He should be in an institution. But after October the 17th, and one of the biggest cards ever in Houston, it's going to be six-man tag team warfare. And we got Bad Leroy Brown, Savannah Jack, and the irrepressible one-man gang. And gang, I want you to tell these people out here just how you're going to do it all. Let me tell these TV people one thing. We let Chavo Guerrero land. We left him land. October 17th, we're going to leave 3 of them land. Chavo, Duggan, Missing Link, you are going down in Houston, Texas. Right, that's the way it's going to be.
The six-man gang war, Devastation Incorporated, as they go up against Hacksaw Jim Duggan, Chavo Guerrero, and the Missing Link. What a combination on both sides. It's all going to break loose.
It's unbeatable. And you know I'm the greatest man in the history of this sport. I'm the Godfather, and nobody goes against the Godfather.
This is one six-man tag war you do not want to miss. In addition to the six-man gang war, there'll be another tag team battle that features the attention of all wrestling fans, as Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert and Sting go up against Hollywood, John Tatum, and Jack Victory.
Oh, it's Holly Good Tatum, and you know what? Jack Victory. I don't really particularly care from now on. I don't even want to talk about these two guys. I don't even want to say their names. They have disgusted me and this man so bad. Two guys that we thought. Sting told me, though. Sting told me there's something about John Tatum he didn't like. There's something about Jack Victory he didn't like. But I said, oh, we got to listen because Missy's got a lot of money. And we're in trouble right now. We need that money, and I'm going to be nice to Missy. But you know, there's just so much you can take, Houston, Texas. There's just so much you can take. I've had enough backstabbing from you, John Tatum. I've heard your name too much. But obviously, John Tatum, Holly Goof, you don't know who you're messing with. Why don't you go and ask Cowboy Bill Watts? Why don't you go ask Hacksaw Jim Duggan? Go ask DiBiase. Go ask Taylor. No. Matter of fact, why don't you just go out and ask any wrestling fan in Houston, Texas, who you're messing with? You step on the grounds of Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert and my man, the man I know that'll stick behind me and beside me through thick and thin. And in Houston, Texas, with no disqualification, where anything goes. Let Missy Hyatt sit in the top bleacher in the building, I don't care. John Tatum, we're going to see between me and you who the real man is, and Sting has promised me he's going to kick Jack Victory's butt, and we're going to walk out of Houston, Texas, and every woman in that building is going to know who the real men are.
That's right. So Missy Hyatt will be at ringside, regardless of what takes place before the matches in that dunking tank. The Missy Hyatt will be stuck in for 1 hour, and don't forget, you wrestling fans will have an opportunity. $1 each way. One fall battle featuring the return of Iceman King Parsons, a colorful, exciting wrestler up against a rugged and tough Libyan, the unorthodox Libyan, as we're going to have a great contrast of styles in this match. Mentioned before, one fall battle. My name is Paul, and sitting right next to me to do the color commentating on this particular event is the Universal Wrestling Federation's event coordinator for this area, Bruce Pritchard. And Bruce, it's great to have you here.
Well, Pete, I'll tell you what, it's great to be here. We've got another jam-packed crowd here at the Sam Houston Coliseum. And up in the ring, we have the return of Iceman King Parsons to Houston, Texas. And as you know, Iceman got his start right here in Houston, Texas.
That's correct. And Iceman King Parsons started his wrestling career right about the same time a good friend of ours started, was Tom Pritchard, your brother. And I think there's been a good opportunity to let Tom Pritchard fans out there bring them a Tom Pritchard update.
Well, Pete, I'll tell you what, right now Tom is in Pensacola, Florida. He's doing really well there. He's wrestling all throughout the Alabama area. And he's looking forward to coming back here to the UWF. You see Iceman King Parsons using what he learned in all those workouts with Tom just a few years ago right here in Houston.
Well, I tell you, that was a good crew of people training to become professional wrestlers, because Iceman King Parsons has done a tremendous job, and Tom Pritchard, as you can trace it right back to those hard sessions they had against each other, training to become professional wrestlers, a career that both men pursued with a tremendous amount of determination and have done extremely well. We're proud of them as they got their start here in Houston, Texas, and have been able to rise to stardom throughout different areas of the country. But the Libyan is a rugged individual, a man that is tough to get down and basically wrestle, because he doesn't like to wrestle. He's in there to fight, as Iceman Parsons, a good ring-savvy veteran, is smart enough to realize that he has got to be careful to keep the match in his style and not resort to the style of the Libyan.
Well, there's no doubt about it, Pete. You saw right there on the ropes, the Libyan was a little bit hesitant, break clean on the ropes. Right now they locked up again, and the Libyan this time with the side headlock.
Don't forget, wrestling fans, stay tuned, because later on this program you will see that special segment featuring valet, as Missy Hyatt had to be the valet for Dark Journey. You will see that special segment later on this program, and it fits right in what will take place here Friday, October 17th. Fans are already talking about it. Missy Hyatt in that dunk tank, and Hacksaw Jim Duggan's already mailed in his $1. He wants to be the first man to toss the ball and be the one to send Missy Hyatt down into the water tank.
Well, I'll tell you what, Pete, that's one that I can hardly wait to see. Like you said, there are a lot of people, I know on one side of the dressing rooms over here, that are going to be first in line ready to throw those balls at Missy Hyatt and see her get dunked in that dunking booth.
And that will not be on television, so we urge you to be here in person if you want to see that particular event. Iceman now just using good leverage and that strength that he possessed in that upper body, was able to toss the Libyan down to the mat. The Libyan now claiming foul play, but Tommy Gilbert was watching the whole course of events very closely. He saw no evidence, as he has refused come down and scold the Iceman in that particular move, because Iceman just used it on plain good wrestling leverage.
Here the Coliseum are backing him up 100%, Pete.
Well, we have a great crowd on hand here today for Super Sunday in September, and the Friday, October 17th blockbusting card being put together by promoter Paul Bosch and the Universal Wrestling Federation is going to have more matches added to it as the weeks come. We urge you to stay tuned every single weekend for more exciting details of the October 17th blockbuster right here on Channel 39 Gold, as details will be announced every single week. But we do urge you to get your tickets early, because one of the matches that has already been signed is no disqualification tag team showdown with Hollywood John Tatum and Jack Victory up against Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert and Sting. And what a showdown that's going to be.
I tell you what, Pete, the interesting thing there is Missy Hyatt is going to be at ringside, and you know, since the breakup of Hyatt International, that should be really interesting, and it's going to be also interesting to see who the fans, what side the fans are on October 17th.
Up in the ring, you see the Libyan again reaching for the tempting targets of Iceman, that string of hair of his, a unique style for Iceman Parsons, but he possesses a unique wrestling style, and it's one of the reasons it's proven to be successful in the wrestling ring, is that he has been able to incorporate a good and well-balanced wrestling attack, whether it includes flying through the air or just getting down to basic wrestling and leverage. Iceman is well-versed in both, but he's not well-versed, nobody's well-versed to be able to take those wallops across the chest that the Libyan is able to deliver. And this is where the Libyan is at his dangerous best, Bruce, is when he's able to punish his opponents, get away from the wrestling holds, and just goes to the wallops, the kicks, and manhandle the Iceman right now.
That's right. You see he's got the Iceman reeling now. He had him in that corner working him over. Now he's got him on the ropes choking. And this is where the Libyan's at his best. He throws the rule book completely aside. And there you see referee Tommy Gilbert warning the Libyan, and the Iceman feels the effects.
But the Libyan pays little attention to the warnings of Tommy Gilbert as he continues to punish Iceman, knowing that he has been able to find a slight opening in the armor of Iceman Parsons, but nevertheless, the Libyan wants to continue the punishment, but Iceman is quickly finding an answer, and two well-placed wallops as the Iceman now using that head of his as Iceman Parsons now getting into the match a little bit quicker and with a little bit more movement, as he has been able to now trying to outmaneuver the Libyans, setting them up in a driving Bull Curry type wallop to the midsection.
Iceman shaking it, getting down right now, Pete, and he's ready to take the Libyan on, one-on-one, whatever it takes. That headbutt again, he's got the Libyan down, 1, 2, but not 3.
We have just passed the 10-minute mark in this battle between Iceman Parsons and the Libyan. As Iceman Parsons is the man who is setting the Libyan up, and the Libyan's coming straight at you. Iceman going for the abdominal stretch. That's a big man to wrap up. If Iceman's able to do it, he's going to have the Libyan in a very tough position as you twist the upper body in a exact opposite direction as the lower body, and the pressure puts it on that side, on that abdominal area, and that's what's called the abdominal stretch, as Parsons, if he can keep it on long enough and put the pressure on, could get a submission right out of Libyan right now.
Well, right there, Iceman just dropped back, and he's got the Libyan wrapped up. This could be it. Now the Libyan's got his foot on the ropes.
By that time, they were just a little bit too close to the ropes. Iceman was able to bring the big man to the mat one more time with that driving knee lift. Iceman sending the Libyan into the ropes again, as Iceman now trying to use every part of the ring, and a good solid wallop that time. Stretched out the Libyan. Iceman's on top. We've got 2, but no 3.
Not enough to keep the big man down. You see Iceman King Parsons. He's going right back after him. He's got the Libyan right there again into the midsection.
That rip across the eyes is enough to stop anybody's momentum, as a Libyan trying to slow down the Iceman, who has done a good job and taken the battle right to the unorthodox Libyan. Into the rope, Iceman with a good move and a crossbody block. Iceman's on top. We've got 1, we've got 2, but again, he falls just 1 short of winning a match over the Libyan.
Iceman's finding it hard to keep that big man down, and again, the Libyan back of the neck with that big elbow. Libyan back in the Iceman into the corner. He's got that chokehold. Referee Tommy Gilbert in there warning him to break, keeping him off.
You can't help but notice the complete contrast in styles between these two competitors, as Iceman continues to try to use wrestling maneuvers and moving about the ring, as the Libyan has continued his strategy of just punishing and trying to hurt Iceman Parsons. It could very well turn out, Bruce, that the man who's able to control the match into whichever style they fit best is going to be the one who wins it.
Well, it seems to be going half and half right now, Pete. Both men have dominated for their own time, and right now, Iceman King Parsons coming back, and he has the Libyan on the ropes. And he's giving the fans that sign, and there it is, that big left hand, and the Libyan's down.
Iceman Parsons was showing Eastern Wrestling fans some of the unique wallop style of his, but now he's just sizing, and as he keeps moving, he knows that that's the best way to battle this Libyan, is not to be a stationary target. And that time, that's one way of using that extra body weight and that power that he possesses. He's on top, and that's going to spell victory for Iceman Parsons. So his return to Eastern Wrestling, a victorious one, as he stayed after the Libyan, and the Iceman is back for Eastern Wrestling, and he's back with a victory.
That's right. What an impressive victory. Great match. Return of Iceman King Parsons.
And we'll be back with more great wrestling action in just one moment.
Oh, we're just about out of time for Bruce Pritchard. Michael Hayes has got the belt. Welcome to the Universal Wrestling Federation. I'm Jim Ross, and I want to welcome along my special guest, color analyst, Ted DiBiase, here on the program. Teddy, thanks very much for being with us.
Jim, it's always a pleasure to be here.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've got a lot of exciting things to talk about. We've got an outstanding television program for you. We'll be talking about the big 2-ring battle royals in the hour. Teddy, a lot of money on the line in those.
A lot of money and a lot of prestige, and wherever those battle royals happen to be, you can always count on a Freebird or two being there, and that's reason enough for me and Doc to be on the scene.
And ladies and gentlemen, also regarding the Freebirds, this belt situation, I've seen your back a long time after that incident. They are still there.
Well, put it this way, Jim. I'm wearing my Levi's all the time now. Not because it's fall and it's that season again. It's because when I wear Levi's, I always have to wear a belt. And I'm not going anywhere these days, Michael Hayes, without a belt.
I think that's a pretty pointed message, and I think Michael will surely understand that particular statement. Also, ladies and gentlemen, in this hour, we will review the very controversial UWF heavyweight championship situation. I have never been around a situation where we have looked at so much film as we have in the last week.
It's really something, you know. That was a hard-fought battle, and my heart really went out to my partner, my good friend, Dr. Death. He felt like he had the title in his hands. I was watching. I thought he'd won, too, and it was just a real tough decision.
We'll talk about that situation. We have reviewed the tape. We'll talk about that in the hour. Also, in this hour, Terry Taylor defending the television title, Teddy, against the one-man gang.
I tell you what, that's going to be a battle. That's a whole lot of man for Terry to handle, and you know the way the ratings are right now, I'm slotted at number 4. Terry Taylor being the champion, one in line for the UWF shot, but it could come down to maybe Terry Taylor having to wrestle me should he get past the one-man gang, and if that situation arises, then Terry and I have talked this over. We're good friends, but when that bell rings, we're professionals. We've got to go for the money.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll also have valet for a day footage. We'll see Chavo Guerrero and the Iceman in action, but right now, let's go to ring announcer Mike Wilson.
Ladies and gentlemen, introducing first from Dallas, Texas at 230 pounds, Jeff Rates. And from New Jersey at 230 pounds, Jumpin' Joe Savoli. This match, 1 fall or 10-minute time limit.
Jumpin' Joe Savoli will take on young Jeff Rates here in our first matchup on the Universal Wrestling Federation. I think this should be a very scientific battle. Both these young men prefer the scientific catch-as-catch-can style. And we get a lot of letters, Teddy, from people, fans around the country. They'd like to see a good scientific matchup. Here's 2 young men on their way up. What better way to make the fans happy and to see who the better man is, Jeff Rates or Joe Savoli, by matching them here on the Universal Wrestling Federation.
Nobody appreciates a good scientific match more than I do, because that's my style, Jim. You know that. And you got 2 young men that have come into the UWF. A lot of good young athletes coming into the UWF. We're fastly becoming the hotbed of professional wrestling, and everybody's kind of fighting for a notch on the ladder. And these 2 young men are both very well-conditioned athletes and both very game for the fight.
Ladies and gentlemen, so many big events, big spectacular cards with so many matches, so many great confrontations coming up this week. This Sunday at 2 o'clock in the Myriad in Oklahoma City, one of the most outstanding lineups in the history of Oklahoma. Nice move by Jumpin' Joe Savoli. Also, this Tuesday night, Little Rock at the Arkansas State Fair. Tickets still on sale at the Tee to Green Golf Shop, and also the Arkansas State Fair box office. That kicks off at 8 o'clock this Tuesday night. Also coming up in Biloxi, Memphis, Tennessee, Springfield, Wichita, Kansas City. Here we come. And back in Wichita Falls, Texas, in the next few weeks as well. Near fall there, Jeff Rates. A young man, I think he's a rookie, quite obviously. He will have the disadvantage as far as experience is concerned, Ted, but sometimes in these scientific battles, the experience really is kind of negated when you talk about speed and quickness and technique, and that's what we're seeing here now.
Yeah, a lot of times a young wrestler, even though he may be well-conditioned, you know, he's so aggressive that he oftentimes isn't thinking as calmly as he should be. He's not keeping his poise as well as maybe a more seasoned veteran would. Joe Savoli is a second-generation wrestler like myself. His father, Angelo Savoli, was a junior heavyweight champion of the world, wrestled in the same era as my father. As a matter of fact, I think they wrestled each other. So he comes from the same type of background that I do, and I know that his heart is all for wrestling.
I wholeheartedly agree. He's a fine young man. Arm twist by Jumpin' Joe Savoli. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, in this hour, as a matter of fact, coming up next, we will talk more about the UWF Heavyweight Championship situation, I guess we could say. We'll have that in the next segment here on the UWF. We're going to replay what happened last week and talk a little bit about that and get an official ruling. Jeff Rates a little bit hesitant
as he's attempting to take over on Jumpin' Joe Savoli. And Jumpin' Joe jumps in and jumps out of the ring. And a chop. Ooh.
Great agility.
I thought he had him right there, near fall.
I thought he did too. Good drop kick.
Rates now taking a little bit too much time to make the cover. He had Savoli down there a second. Savoli now taking back over on Jeff Rates.
In a sport as fast-moving as wrestling, Jim, as you know, you can't take time to think. It's got to be reflex, or you've already lost it.
Instinct, I think, too, as well. And
like my dad used to tell me, if you're running down the road and you trip and fall, you don't think about putting your hands out there. You just do it on reflex. Oh.
Savoli was in a pinning predicament, but now he's got Race wrapped up and reversed it. And Jumpin' Joe Savoli with a victory. Race had him wrapped up, but Savoli's experience, I think, really paid off there. Savoli with a victory, and Ted DiBiase and I will be right back and take a close look at the UWF Heavyweight Championship situation after this timeout. Everybody, a lot of action coming your way. But in this segment, we want to focus on the very controversial situation surrounding the Universal Wrestling Federation Heavyweight Championship. If you were with us here last week, you saw a tremendous battle between Steve Dr. Death Williams and Terry Bam Bam Gordy. And Teddy, I know that you and Doc have looked at the tape of this situation over and over again. So have we, and so have the officials. And the basic ruling was, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that both men had their shoulders up when the counts were made. What made it even more controversial was the fact that both referees were counting. A lot of controversy here. What are your thoughts on it at this point in time?
Well, I think that, you know, both referees at that time thought that they were right, and it was obvious. Doc and I looked at it together over it. When it happened the first time, I thought he'd won the belt. Right. And by looking at it, we both had to admit that both shoulders were up. In all fairness to both men, they both had a shoulder up, so there was no pinfall.
I'll tell you, let's now join the closing moments of last week's matchup and let you see for yourself, and you be the judge. Right now, it's not to pin, but to hurt somebody. He doesn't care who it is. It just happens to be Terry Gordy. He's the free bird. He's got it. Gordy is lacerated. Dr. Death, big hands, have opened up a large gash on Terry Gordy. And now it's Gordy with a pile driver. And these two big men have collided in the center of the squared circle. Another capacity crowd at the convention center as Gordy's face is a mask of Clarence. What days? What a battle! Oh, Gordy went for a flying body press, and he has annihilated Carl Berge. Dr. Death dropped down, but Gordy with that inside drop cradle. There's goodness for the standby official as Berge is helpless. Dr. Death has got Terry Gordy now with Tommy Gilbert. But Dr. Death, Gordy's foot is on the rope. Dr. Death with a partial stampede. Both referees have been knocked down, but the referee telling Dr. Death only a 2 count. It was only a partial stampede. Gilbert was knocked. The referee was hit in the face. The two docs belting down Gordy. Taking back over on Williams. It's all on the line right here. And you're seeing it right here on the UWF. Dr. Death coming to back suplex. Both referees are counting. And we've got a pinfall. I think we've got a new champion. The referees both of them are down. Dr. Death has his hand up. Jubilant in Tulsa. Carl Berge is holding Dr. Death's hand up. But Tommy Gilbert's one referee is signaling Dr. Death. We seem to have a difference of opinion here. Terry.
It's always been a policy of the UWF not to change a referee's decision due to videotape replay. Now, in this case, we're going to try to clarify and confirm the referee's decision. On the left of your screen is Carl Fergie. He's counting both men down until Gordy raises his shoulder. So he calls an offensive foul against Dr. Death. And on the right side of your screen, Tommy Gilbert is counting Terry Gordy out because Dr. Death has his shoulder up. Both referees called a pinfall, when in fact, neither man was pinned.
Okay, okay. I looked at the films. Both our shoulders was up. You can't cry over spilled milk. But I want that belt. That belt belongs to me. I want one bird. It doesn't matter what bird, but I want one bird down. It doesn't matter if it's in a cage, the parking lot, or in the crowd. I want my belt.
I'll tell you, after looking at the tape, it's just as close as it was week after week. It hasn't changed, or hour after hour looking at this tape. Without a doubt, both men had their shoulders up. A no decision, I think, was in order.
No decision. That is a proper ruling as far as I have to agree with that. I also have to agree that it should be upcoming, that there should be a rematch scheduled right away with both men. And I also want to put in my own 2 bits here. Even though there was no decision in that match, it was very obvious to me, and I think to anybody that watched that match, that my partner and my good friend, Steve Dr. Death Williams, definitely took the battle to Terry Bam Bam Gordy. The way I look at it, he took Terry Gordy and marched him up and down his own bad street.
Probably the only people that would disagree with you are the Freebirds, and we're going to see one of the Freebirds in action after this timeout.
£35 from Austin, Texas, Bobby Perez.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, the music in the background will bring out momentarily Freebird Buddy Roberts, his opponent Bobby Perez in the ring. As Freebird Buddy Roberts walking by our podium here.
Keep walking, Robert.
Jim Ross and Ted DiBiase with you here, ladies and gentlemen, from the Tulsa Convention Center. Another tremendous crowd here for the television taping, and we'll be taping again in the very near future here. We'll keep you abreast of that. A lot of big action coming your way. We'll be talking about in the hour some spectacular cards.
From Bad Street, USA, Freebird Buddy Roberts.
The veteran of the fabulous Freebirds, there you see him, Buddy Roberts. And he's a man, a veteran campaigner. He's had a match or 2 under his belt, Teddy.
That's right, Jim. You know, I don't have to like the man, but you always have to give credit where credit's due. And Buddy Roberts is oftentimes referred to as the 3rd member of the Freebirds, the smaller guy, the lightest guy on the team, the one that takes a lot of the punishment on the team. But Buddy Roberts, in all fairness to him, is a very tenacious man. He's a very aggressive man. You know, he's like a little rat, you know. He gets you in the corner and then
gnaws away.
He gnaws away, and he enjoys hurting people. And, you know, as bad as I want to get Michael Hayes in the ring and put a strap into him, I wouldn't mind getting Buddy in there too. But Buddy's the kind of guy that you strap him, he might like it.
He just might like it. You're probably right there. And Buddy Roberts is certainly a man that has very little regard for his own personal safety and has no regard for his opponent's personal safety.
Which makes him that much more of a threat, because if a man is that reckless, doesn't care about what happens to him, then he's liable to do anything in the world to you.
And Roberts and the Freebirds certainly looking forward to the dangerous yet lucrative to the winner 2-ring battle royals coming up.
Tell you what, Jim, they're not looking forward to it any more than Doc and I are. I mean, 2-ring battle royals are vicious matches. They're dangerous because you don't know who's coming at you from what direction and when. There's a lot of money at stake. But for Doc and I, as well as the money, which is always very important as professionals, it gives us an opportunity to get all 3 Freebirds in the ring at the same time.
Action in and out of both rings, and 50 grand riding on the winner. Those on your way. We'll tell you about it in the hour. Freebird Buddy Roberts now, methodically taking apart young Bobby Perez. And Bobby Perez is being strolled down Bad Street. And it's not, the scenery's not too pleasant in there with Buddy. but it is very effective as Roberts is really educating this young man in Texas.
Buddy Roberts staying very poised. He takes his time. He's deliberate. He's enjoying what he's doing. He enjoys dishing out punishment.
I think that's an excellent point, Ted. He does enjoy inflicting pain. And as you mentioned, to a certain point, I think Buddy even gets into the pain himself. I've heard Cowboy Bill Watts mention that on numerous occasions. Buddy is just a little off balance, folks. He's just, you know, to be very honest with you.
He's a few cents short of $1, Jim.
Yeah. Perez showing some fight here. Look at Roberts backing into the corner. He's raised the ire of this young man from Texas, from the state capital in the Lone Star State. Freebird Buddy Roberts goes for a ride to the corner. Perez looked like he was setting for a bulldog maybe, but Roberts pushed him right off.
Don't ever get too overconfident with any Freebird, because you're writing your own ticket to defeat.
Well, Buddy Roberts,
that's it, Jim.
He's dominated this young man. The sadistical Buddy Roberts, the veteran member of the Freebirds, impressive on the Universal Wrestling Federation. My thanks to Ted DiBiase for being with us.
Always a pleasure to be here, Jim. Thank you.
Teddy, best of luck to you in the upcoming weeks in the big battle royals. And ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back. The television title will be on the line. Terry Taylor and the giant one-man gang right after this. Time out. Thanks very much for staying with us. Michael Hayes has joined
me. The star of the show is here now. You know, I had to adjust his headset. DiBiase's got a head like a watermelon. He almost stretched it out. But now I know, ladies, you've been waiting, but the star of the show is back. So now we can roll on, baby.
You finished?
No, I'm not finished.
Well, we're going to have the television title matchup. I wanted to ask your thoughts on that situation, Terry Taylor and the one-man gang. But seeing as though that you are going to be a little bit hesitant on your comments, let's go to the ring.
Good. I'll say what I want when I want.
Ladies and gentlemen, introducing of Devastation Incorporated at 465 pounds from Chicago, the one-man gang.
Devastation Incorporated very well represented in the ring with Bad Leroy Brown, Savannah Jack, General Skandar Akbar, Wild Bill Irwin absent tonight. But Terry Taylor, what a challenge for this man, defending the television title here, right here on the UWF.
Yeah, but Jim Ross, first of all, I should be the TV champion. You know I got ripped off 2 weeks ago when I wrestled him. But more important than that,
introducing his opponent from Vero Beach, Florida, at 235 pounds, the